95 degrees. And you know, I've been getting used to the heat, but still it has an effect on me. Earlier this month I had a lot of great breakout rides, but the weather was cooler, and now that it's hotter, I think my best days are behind me, so to speak, at least for the summer. But I keep working it. This is Tuesday, and it's my race pace, kill each other ride with the teammates. I'm not holding out much for today, but I just got to keep working the plan.
As you can tell from the previous clip, I just was not confident. Even though I've been doing a lot of heat adaptation work, it's having an effect on my body. And it's having an effect on me psychologically too. In addition to that, today's going to be 95. And it's been in the 90s all week, and this is one of the cooler weeks because usually it's between 100 and 110. I should be feeling better, but I'm not. I'm getting that feeling that the possibility of going to nationals is slipping away. While the structured heat adaptation training I've been doing has purely been with endurance rides, this will be my first test during the amped Tuesday Kill Your Lungs and Legs ride with my teammates. I did notice that everyone was a lot more cautious with their pulls. Occasionally, one of us would take a longer pull, as I'm doing now on this extended small grade, but we all seemed cognizant of keeping the speed up by taking those smaller pulls. On this grade, I wanted to make sure that I didn't overextend myself because we were heading up to a rather steep wall, but I was keeping it mostly above threshold. Now, I've been calling this climb a wall. It's not really a wall, it's more of a steep climb. I don't think it qualifies yet as a wall. Regardless, Terry and I took to the front, and even though that we're at the front, there's a wind that's a headwind, but it's coming more from the left, so Terry is actually doing most of the work with that. What I want to do is keep pace with Terry and finish at the top with him, and that's a tall order. Sprinter non-climber teammate Robert is off the back a bit. Ultra distance racer, that includes Ram, Jeannie, is right behind us still. As we're closing to the top, Terry is causing me to spend 50 to 80 watts more to try to stay up with him. I'm feeling the heat and my heart rate's climbing like the others are too, I'm sure, but I'm the one that's 66. I want to be able to stay with Terry to the far end of the bridge where the cement turns back into asphalt, but that's not happening today. I'm cooked, and I remember thinking, you know, this is close enough, so I dialed back. I know the hard stuff is coming. And this is where it starts. You have this long extended medium grade climb, you have a little bit of a descent, which leads into a 4-minute climb. Unlike past times when we've done this particular course, I took the lead. I've yet to finish this particular section connected to Terry. I figure if I go up here and set a strong enough pace, but not something that'll kill me, I'll be able to survive. Even if he attacks, I'll be able to go with him. I'll then be able to start the 4-minute climb with him, so I can test to see how I do against him on that. I was able to keep Terry at bay for 90 seconds. Unfortunately, this particular climb is about 2 minutes long. So he saw me weakening, and then he went to the front, and then he just kept going, and I had to dial back for just a bit. In fact, Jeannie went with him too. I told you Jeannie was strong in a previous video. After I got my legs under me, so to speak, I recovered enough. I chased after them. And on the climb, at the beginning of the climb, I caught and passed Jeannie, and I saw that Terry was very close. Of course, that's not very true when you consider that this is a climb and this is in the heat. At this point, I had to dial back a bit just so I can survive the climb. So it's not a question of being able to catch him, it's a question of how close I can get to him toward the top. Jumping to the top, Terry made it over first, and he's now in the descents, and I wasn't able to catch Jeannie. Got close though. Jumping forward again, this is now after our turnaround point. In fact, we're starting on the back end of that climb that you just saw us climb. It takes about 5 minutes to come up on this side. Now, I've gone to the front as I've done before with this climb, but this time I'm not putting as much power out. Not solely because of the heat, but because when I've done this in the past, I'm not able to sustain that power, and I die at about halfway, and then the others just jump me. And then I'm chasing them up, and then I make some time, but I never catch them at the top. This time I do go over halfway before I'm jumped, but then when I'm jumped, I'm able to stay a lot closer to him, so I don't die off, I just dial back a bit. I definitely consider that one a win for me. On the way back, my next big test is trying to stay at power on the flats with the rest of them. I'd gotten close once, being able to stay with them to the end, but that was the best I could do. This time, because of the accumulated workload and heat, things were a little more muted. They weren't easy, but they were a little more muted. So now we're on the final ascent. And now I'm thinking that hey, I'm going to go jump these guys and I'm going to go for the sprint. We never really talked about the sprint before. They may have a sprint, but I never got to the point where I could even do the sprint. So I decided to, when I did jump, I would jump a little slower. They can hear me because of this creaky bottom bracket. They hope to get fixed next week so that everybody would know my intent so I wouldn't be that guy. So I'm jumping here and actually I am feeling pretty good. Robert, the sprinter, easily is going around me so I could tell him that, hey, I was leading you out. And Terry is strong as ever and he's going for it. Jeannie, being the ultra distance person, is not a sprinter, so she is back there. Being able to do what I did on today's ride and speaking with Terry at the turnaround points and seeing that he was also pretty reamed and suffering with the heat a bit, that gave me a little bit of confidence that I'm not sucking like I thought I was sucking, and I'm actually feeling pretty good. Still things to work on, and I have about another month and a half to do so. I hope you enjoyed this video and you got something out of it. As always, remember, comment, like, subscribe. The Cycling Greek.